Hey, and what is up guys? Welcome to today's video. Today I'm gonna show you exactly how I built this shallow mini pond aquarium. It has a waterfall feature, it has a built-in filtration in the back. In this part one, I'm gonna show you how I built it fully step by step, every little detail. I even had to modify the pump. So lean back and enjoy the video. So let's start. First things first, I have to glue in the filter so it has some time to cure. I have already pre-cut this little, like acrylic pieces of profile. I use this also in the Finalizing project. The sponge is going to be inserted sort of like this in between both profiles so it stays in place. First, I'm going to attach the pump and then basically build the filter chamber around it. And now I need the ARKA poly glue. I would say like a silicone type glue, but it comes in this pressurized bottle. Super handy to be used. There you have it, one side applied. Let's do the second side. Just love using it. Comes out so easy. So here you can see, pressing it against the glass, it expands a little bit. It's going to be covered behind hardscape anyway. So the chamber is done, and this is going to serve two purposes. Purpose number one, this is where the filtration happens. That sponge has a lot of surface area, basically more than any hang-on back filter, but also holds back everything for the water feature of our little waterfall. Great. What we use for our water feature is a tiny little pump like this. I don't know, like 10 bucks off Amazon. So I need a little piece of silicone tubing, which I can put on top of the nozzle, just like this. And now it fits perfectly with the tubing to the inner diameter of that fitting. And what that allows me to bend the water flow 90 degrees. So I just push that on. And next step is to use an acrylic tube. I got one over here. This is again, I think 10 millimeter diameter, which goes inside that fitting. This can go behind. This way we get the water out of the chamber. Let's build the hardscape first. This way we know at which height we have to cut the tube. So as for the hardscape, I'm going to use this Titan Stone from WIO. Let's start with the biggest rocks first. So what I like about this stone, it has a very rough structure, a little bit of quartz in here. So it has this beautiful white veins. So that's pretty cool. So I would like to create a little slope towards the back. Let me use some rocks here. So the big one needs a little bit of support in the back. Stand here. You can see how the water can run down on the surface of the stone. This is going to be our water feature. So now with proper lubrication, the pump is still holding. Good news, Amazon, no return this time. And I want a second big stone here to create a second hill. Literally we'll just put it inside, which gives us a nice valley in between both stones. This is the main structure, literally just two stones. It's not an iwagumi, a mini pond. So no iwagumi rules apply here. So what I want is a structure that goes up here, and as you have seen in the beginning, by adding some branches, have a lot of, like directional movement, which, shows maybe during rainy season, there was some water that has shaped the whole scene. And what I need now is just more stones to put in somewhere to create more structure. This way we get like a curvy, that the pathway bends towards the back. The other thing is, I would like to build a big slope in this left corner so the plants can grow out of water. Okay guys, so here's the wood. It is beautiful juniper wood, which is pretty rare by the way. I recommend to brush it to get rid of all the loose particles. So I'm thinking to insert these large pieces to create that horizontal, diagonal movement. That one will lay on this piece of wood, be somewhere like this. And the second big piece will go in that front corner, and voila, with just two rocks, two pieces, we already have our composition ready. I have a couple more branches here, so I can go crazy with them. But before I do that, and I have to address that back corner here. Look, guys, you see there in the back, there is like a little bit of space. That side, no problem. I can stuff that with, something from the back, and it's gonna hold the soil there and fill it from the front. So we have like a slope support over here. And to achieve that, I have to seal that part of the build. I got a couple sponges in between, you see here. It fills the gap. Stuff it in a little bit further, stuff that in, just like this, like a little cave behind the stone. That should look interesting. At a later point, we can always fill in, some hardscape. So guys, to glue the rocks in place, I'm gonna use something new I got from Nordic Scaper. Shout out, thanks for sending over, which is like a gluing compound. Usually I would use toilet paper or stuff like that, or cotton pads. I just rediscovered it, after moving around. I got lost and I just found it again. So it looks like this fluffy stuff. It's supposed to bond super fast. I was thinking maybe I should use a bigger rock to fill this gap. So let me grab a tiny pouch of that gray stuff around the joint so we have a strong connection. My favorite liquid super glue from ARKA, and for perfect application I highly recommend you use one of these tiny nozzles. Okay, the good thing is it blends, because of the gray color, kind of perfectly to the stone, and it's also available in brown color. Let's test that. Moment of truth. Pulling the stone to the back. Yeah. It's attached here. We can now squeeze in our sponge from the back again and just shorten it at the right length. So all the gaps down there are filled and no substrate can fall out. At the same time, we have a little cave created underneath. I'm going to glue the sponge to the stone as well. Let's try if this material works. Also glue the stone to the glass with the sponge. Now that stone should be glued to the glass and shouldn't slide around. Now that the rock is secured, I can literally, if I wanted to, lift both rocks together, like you can see. This piece is standing. What I want to do is secure that side. So I will take the sponge and cut. I can literally look through, super thin. I would say now we can lock in the wood. I got the idea to use a little piece of the sponge down here, which will help me keep the soil like in a pocket, so I can glue the soil in place. And then to camouflage it further, we can add some soil dust. So that branch, super secure. Let's see how we're going to fix this one. Ideally, I want to find a position that has multiple touching points with the stone. One down here, one up here, one down there. That is pretty secure. That is very secure. Let me see if I can put in some more branches. Definitely want some branches, some more branches in the back. Yeah, that looks cool from down here. It literally comes down. I think I came up with pretty good layout and just glued in place that little guy. And we have this, oops, fallen over tree, which creates a little bit of, you know, like counter movement, which I like. And this could be somewhere here in the front as well, you know, over here. Let's glue these other things in place. Okay guys, the hardscape is done. Let's say the main hardscape is done. So what I'm gonna do next is just fill in that rear pocket that I created over here. Fill it up with aqua soil so it can be planted and things can grow out of water. That's gonna be super cool. And the rest underwater, I'm gonna add some cosmetic sand that's gonna help, you know, keep things in place. And then basically add a couple more rocks to it. So let me get my substrate. Here we have it. Because everything is glued in place and we have sealed all the gaps, I don't have to be worried that the soil that is super high here in the back is ever going to come down. So let's empty the bag. That feeling when you finish an entire bag of aqua soil. Just look at it. Down here, a little cave that we have built. Super cool. Oh, there's some dirt. Get out of there. Since we're gonna have the water pretty tall, I want the water to trickle down here on the visible part of the stone. So I need the tubing to extend to somewhere like here. Where do I have the plastic fittings? Stupid Uris. Sitting on top here. So let me calculate if it goes in like this, approximately the perfect height. So I can cut it at the black marking. Where do I do that? Where's my wooden bench? Cutting acrylic, you have to be careful because halfway through it breaks easily. Be careful. This means we can now push that on top. This can be now rotated, extended. I can tilt this slightly forward like this. That's where the edge of the stone is. Now let me do another cut. Now let's do it slowly, no pressure. Wow, perfect 45-degree cut. Let's push it in. Hopefully the flow is not too strong so it doesn't fly. I was thinking to like a little bit piece of stone above it, you know, like that. So it's hidden under a stone. You don't see it, and also the stone redirects the flow downwards. This stone is great, but it's just too long. I have to managed to break it apart. Let's see if we can use one of the pieces. It definitely hides the outflow pipe, which is great. And if the flow is stronger, I mean, I can dim it down, but it can still be too strong, then it will redirect it down. It took a little while to glue all things in place. Even my camera died, it was overheating. So I wanted to hide the tube so it's not visible from the front, and at the same time the water is directed downwards and doesn't shoot to the front. One rock was just floating at the top and it looked so fake. So what I did, I built the tip of the mountain, the tip of the rock out of, I don't know, 20, 30 pieces. It took ages, but basically now all around it looks natural or real. Call it whatever you want. For me, it works, even from the front. You know, if you look at it, it looks as if the rock goes longer, the tip is taller, which is even a benefit because this separates this rock from the one on the other side, making it like the main feature. Yay! So now, finally, let's add the remaining bits of the hardscape because it's already super late. I have this elongated stone, which I will put down here and slide underneath. Just have to find a way to tuck it in so it looks most interesting. Is that good? Let me check from the front. I want to raise the substrate in that corner as well a little bit so I can plant something here, you know, create like a soil pocket so we don't have only soil on that side. For that, one more stone. How can I get this inside? Maybe like this. Okay, so it's literally standing quite vertical here. Yeah, definitely gives me that soil pocket so I can plant something in here. Got some soil. Let's see how I can fill that in. One more rock is missing. So if you pay attention to the, what is that? The canyon. The canyon. At the end of the canyon, I would like to create some more depth. Literally, you know, you can see that from the back. You know, you can put it here, push it to the other side instead. So we have like a little around the corner band and can observe things in the cave. Okay guys, the background, that little final plateau, number 3, which I like, 3 plateaus, is done, is sealed. So let's fill in some soil and we can add a little bit of powder on top. Brush it smooth. Cool. Believe me or not, when I started the project, I had no idea I'm gonna have a 3rd plateau in the back. I knew I'm gonna have something here and here, but that's a bonus. I like it. What is left? The cosmetic sand, of course. The good stuff. La Plata. I have a little bit of dust in there. I think it's great to show you that some of my builds, how they come together. You know, while I'm doing it, I'm brainstorming constantly, thinking, should I do, shouldn't I do that? So in the beginning, there is the rough idea, the rough positioning of the hardscape, and then as I go, it all comes together. So let's add in the sand and see how it transforms. Wow, I like that. Push in some sand into the cave. I really don't like adding too much sand in the foreground because this will make the scape look smaller. But luckily you can always siphon out afterwards what has been like too much. And in case I want to plant something in the foreground, I need more sand. Gives it a nice curve, you know, when the substrate bends a little bit. Stretches the layout a little bit, as if it's a riverbed. Fill in. So, sand is in. Let me have a look. I think I really like it. What's missing now is some detailing. Since this is a riverbed, waterfall, mini pond, we can get some gravels. Should we? Got myself a bag of WIO, what's called? Sable? Please, anyone let me know how to pronounce it. I guess it's sable. Nice small pebbles, and I don't know, they're kind of grayish color, so I would say they match with the Titan Stone. Also, Titan is kind of edgy on the corners, but for the scale, you know, these are the big rocks sticking out, and this is like what's in the water down around the sand. You know, color matches great. What I'm doing now, I'm brushing the sand and the pebbles, the gravels. And what happens like in nature, the water is shaping and moving things, and where is like a natural, you know, like a safety zone, things are going to stay there, protected from the current, and where is no safety, they're going to be washed away. Might not be perfect, but sand and gravel's never gonna stand still. Definitely shrimps and snails will go inside and they will start moving things around as well. Hardscape is done. I really like the cave. It's kind of cool. Best feature. Plus there is like a tunnel going under the main rock. So that's like a second feature. Okay, so what is left? A test fill to see if the water feature is working. Because if the water feature is not working, we don't have to add plants, so we can take everything out and start over again. So guys, I just got the water. Now comes the moment of truth. Ooh, super excited. Water goes in. What's also really cool, having this chamber in the back means I can drain the water really low without, I don't know, sucking in any animals. Now comes the moment of truth, guys. Super excited, but also ready to dial down the count. And here we go. This is the smallest setting. It's a little bit too strong. I think I have to somehow modify the propeller inside the pump so it creates less flow. I just reduced the size of the propeller. Fingers crossed. It does. Look at it. So ideally, I would like to slow it down even further. I can try adding a little sponge under the rock so the water has to flow through the sponge. Sponge installed. Let's try again. Okay, so that restricts the flow a lot. It trickles down, but now it's like too little. Hey guys, it's working! It's working! Cool, so we have our little water feature, and here we're left with a very interesting build. A fully submerged plateau. Just beneath the water surface, these can grow out. Deep plateau that can be planted in the back, and then a fully immersed plateau with plants completely growing out of water. Okay guys, so the waterfall is finally working. That was something. Even my microphone died. It's already super late in the night. I'm very happy the way it looks, very natural. We get little splashes, so we get a little sound. You know, gonna be really, really cool. Now, for the part 2, where I'm going to plant this aquarium, I need your help. All the recommendations or the suggestions are very welcome in the comment section. What should I plant on the plateau above the water? What should I plant in that fully submerged section in, you know, next to the cave at the back of the aquarium? And then we have this, let's call it semi-submerged, where the plants can easily grow out of water. Obviously a bunch of epiphytes all around the hardscape and some, I don't know, creepy and carpeting plants in the substrate as well. So let me know what kind of plants I should use in part 2 of this video and which animals we could keep in here. Looking forward to read your comments. Thanks for watching. As always, see you in the next one. Goodbye. Okay, camera, you're doing something or you're doing nothing? Come on, pump. Get out of there.